Yeah, that's nice too. You ready, Denise? And good morning, all, and welcome to today's Board of Commissioners regular board meeting. Today is Tuesday, January 21st. The time is 9 a.m. At this time, I'd like to call the meeting to order. Present are all 5 commissioners, as well as the county auditor, treasurer, county coordinator. And with that, I would ask we stand and do the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, agenda item number 3 is amendments to the current agenda. Do we have any amendments to the current agenda?
I have none, Mr. Chair.
Hearing none, we'd like to approve the agenda then,
So moved, Mr. Chair.
and moved by Commissioner Newman. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Denny. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? And ayes have it. Next up on our agenda item number 4, the potential consent items, which our auditor treasurer will handle.
The first item I have is the meeting minutes for January 3rd and 7th, 2025. Please note that there was an error on one of the minutes. It said that Commissioner Denny was absent, and that's not true. Commissioner Becker called us and informed us of that, so we did make that correction. The next item is a gambling permit for Central Minnesota Whitetails. That'll happen on 4/5/2025. A gambling permit for Lakewood Health System. That'll happen on 4/25/2025. Gambling permit for Little Birch Lake Association. That event will happen 9/6/2025. Gambling permit for Midwest Outdoor Unlimited Prairie Partners Chapter. That event will be 3/15/2025. And then we have a 3.2 malt liquor license for Swanville Sobieski Lions.
Okay, we have the listed potential consent items. May I have a motion to approve those?
I'll make a motion to approve with the addition of correcting the minutes on the January 7th.
We have a motion to approve them with the correction as stated by Commissioner Becker. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Denny. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And the ayes have it. Commissioner Denny, your attendance record has been gold starred.
Perfect.
Still on the principal's good list. Okay, and next agenda item number 5 is our county auditor, treasurer, and our warrants.
And those would be the commissioner warrants. Background is sent for your review. Recommendation is to approve the commissioner warrants with an ACH and manual payment totaling the amount of $89,741.12.
Thank you. So the recommendation is to approve the commissioner warrant for a total of $89,741.12. Would I have a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Noska. Second, please.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Newman. We'll then take a roll call.
Commissioner Noska?
Yes.
Commissioner Newman?
Yes.
Commissioner Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Denny?
Yes.
Commissioner Byers?
Yes.
The next item we have then is the Health and Human Service Commissioner warrants. Gosh, so sorry. Background was sent for your review. Recommendation is to approve the Health and Human Service Commissioner warrants with an ACH and a manual payment totaling the amount of $100,224.23.
Thank you. We have a recommendation to approve the Health and Human Services Commissioner warrants in the amount of $100,224.23. And I may ask you for a motion to approve that.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Denny. Is there a second?
Second.
And second by Commissioner Becker. At this time, we'll have a roll call vote.
Commissioner Denny?
Yes.
Commissioner Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Newman?
Yes.
Commissioner Noska?
Yes.
Commissioner Byers?
Yes.
The next item I have would be then the all-county departmental change and petty cash fund approval. The background is, in order to maintain compliance with the state auditor's standards and statutes, it is recommended to approve annually the change in petty cash funds across the county departments. The attached resolution is reaffirming the petty cash and change funds with the elimination of the extension office designation and transferring those dollars to the sheriff's main drawer. Your recommendation is to adopt the attached resolution for the approval of all departments' petty cash and change funds. And I believe they are listed on the attachment here. So a little background, the extension office felt that they weren't utilizing their petty cash, and it is something that the auditors check, and since they're not using it, they opted out of having the cash fund in their drawer. And so they are part of Fund 1. And instead of eliminating that, the Sheriff's Department handles the gun permits, and they do not use credit cards anymore for gun permits. They use cash or checks. So they opted to take that $50, and that is something that we can do, is just shift the funds. So that's what we did, just giving the Sheriff's Office an extra $50 to help out when they have gun permits, and they can have cash in their drawer.
If I may, Denise, this will require a roll call vote also?
No, it's just a motion in a second.
Okay. So we have a recommendation to approve by motion the resolution for the approval of all county departmental change in petty cash funds. Can I have a motion to approve that?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Commissioner Noska. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Becker. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unopposed? And the ayes have it. Next up.
Okay, and so now we move on to the ARPA funds for Battle Point Park paving project, approved final project amount. Background is, on March 19, 2024, ARPA funds were approved by the county board to be obligated for the cost of the pavement project identified as Battle Point Park, with the total estimated $20,000. And so the total cost incurred for this project was $15,300, and at the time it's recommended to close this obligation and to allow the remaining funds of $4,700 to be reassigned accordingly to the terms of the BAF that was presented on 2024-1217-20. Your options are to approve the final ARPA obligated amount for Battle Point Park paving project or do not. The recommendation is to approve the final amount of ARPA funds previously authorized via the Board Action 2024-0319-18 for the Battle Point Park paving project at $15,300 and allowing the remaining funds of $4,700 to be reassigned accordingly to the terms of Board Action 2024-1217-20.
Thank you. So our action ahead of us here is to approve the final amount of ARPA funds previously authorized under that board action number, Battle Point Park paving project at $15,300, and allow the remaining funds of $4,700 to be reassigned according to the last board action number. Could I get a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Denny, a second.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Newman. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? And the ayes have it. Before we move on to the next agenda item, I'd like to ask, can we circle back to 5.3?
I see that.
All right, thank you.
Sorry about that.
No
I was
problem.
just testing your new position, and you passed.
Hence my question about the roll call. I'm like, where are we at here? But that's
I
great.
was wondering why you were asking. My apologies.
let's hit it.
So 5.3 is the Health and Human Service SSIS warrants. Background was sent for your review. The recommendation is to approve the Health and Human Service SSIS warrants with an ACH and a manual payment for $145,133.71.
All right, so this is 5.3 to approve the Human and Health Service SSIS warrants in the amount of $145,133.71. Do I have a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Newman. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Noska. We'll take a roll call.
Commissioner Newman?
Yes.
Commissioner Noska?
Yes.
Commissioner Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Denny?
Yes.
Commissioner Byers?
Yes.
Okay, now let's get back on
We're
track.
at 5.6, right? Is that where we're at?
That's where I'm at.
Thank you.
Oh, we did Battle Point, now we're on clean water.
You're busy today, aren't you?
I am. Restrict fund balance for Clean Water Partnership CWP loan program. Background, in February 2020 and November 23, the county board authorized the Planning and Zoning Department to apply for a Clean Water Partnership loans for septic systems. The loan application fees, principal, and interest are collected and held in the general fund. Beginning in fiscal year 2021, the county board established a restricted fund balance for the CWP loan program. Per auditing standards, this restricted balance should be updated annually. The fiscal year ending 2024 balance is $84,424.86. These funds are to be collected and held to supply for the loan repayment to MPCA. Your adoptions are to approve the attached resolution or do not approve it, and the recommendation is to approve the attached resolution to restrict fund balance for Clean Water Partnership CWP loan program.
Okay, we have a resolution in front of us to restrict, a resolution to restrict the fund balance for Clean Water Partnership Loan Program as updated to the fiscal year ending 2024 balance of $84,424.86. I'd ask for a motion to approve this resolution, please.
So moved.
And can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. It was motion by Commissioner Noska, second by Commissioner Becker. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And opposed? The ayes have it. Next, please.
Planning and Zoning Grant Program. Restrict funds for the balance of the Planning and Zoning Grant Program. Background, the Planning and Zoning Grant revenues arrive prior to the year of the planned activity. State Auditor's recommendation is to approve by resolution a restricted fund balance on an annual basis for transparent financial reporting. The balance of these grants as of 12/31/2023 was $148,571.75. Your options are to approve the attached resolution or do not. The recommendation is to approve the attached resolution for restrict fund balance for planning and zoning grant programs.
Okay, so we have a recommendation to adopt the attached resolution to restrict the fund balance for planning and zoning grant programs. The balance as of the end of 2023 was $148,571.75. Could I get a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Denny. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Newman.
Can I have discussion?
Noska. Over here, Bob.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Noska.
Yeah.
My bad. And
And I do have
Commissioner
a,
Becker would like to discuss some
I
things
do
here?
have a correction. That should have read 2024.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Yes.
our balance is at not 2023, everybody,
Right.
2024. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you for that clarification. Go ahead, Commissioner Becker.
What money is, what kind of grants are we getting that is 148,000? Adams, you're sitting right there.
This is the grants that we use for staff time. So we restrict these from year to year because we get them in one year and use them in another year. So we
Okay.
restrict them so we can use them in future years to pay for staff time.
Okay, thank you.
You, that satisfied? Okay, would there be any other discussion on this topic? Any other discussion? Okay, at this time, I'd ask for, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed? The ayes have it. 5.8, please.
Restricted fund balance for the sheriff's department, or police station, state aid. Restrict fund balance for police state aid from 2023, a one-time distribution. The 2023 omnibus bill, tax bill included $210 million in a one-time public safety aid that was distributed on 12/26/23 to cities and counties across the state. Todd County received $712,941 from this one-time distribution. The omnibus bill also provided stipulations regarding the allowable uses for this one-time funding. In March of 2024, a restricted fund was established to carry forward the balance of the funds from the fiscal year 2023. State Auditor's recommendation is to approve by resolution a restricted fund balance on an annual basis for transparent financial reporting. The balance of this fund as 12/31/2024 is $565,130.18. Your adoptions are to approve the attached resolution or do not, and it is the recommendation to adopt the attached resolution to restrict fund balance for the Public State Aid 2023 one-time distribution.
Okay, we have another resolution in front of us to adapt the resolution, which is to restrict the fund balance as for the police state aid at 2023 one-time distribution in the amount of $565, $130 and 18 cents. Is that right, Denise?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. I'd ask for a motion to approve this.
So move.
Motion by Commissioner Becker. Is there a second?
Second.
And seconded by Commissioner Newman. And at this point, I don't think there's any discussion, so I'll ask for all in favor,
Aye.
all opposed, and the ayes have it. We are on 5.9 at this time. Todd County Development Corporation
Todd County
allocation.
Development Corporation 2025 allocation. Background is the 2025 budget for the support of the Todd County Development Corporation has been approved at $95,658, and a letter of request has been received to transfer these funds. Your options are to approve the transfer of funds or do not approve the transfer of funds. It is recommended to approve the attached resolution to transfer funds from the general fund to the Todd County Development Co-op Fund in the amount of $95,658.
Thank you. So we have another resolution to transfer funds from the general fund to the Todd County Development Corporation Fund in the amount of $95,658. Can I get a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Noska. Is there a second?
Second.
And seconded by Commissioner Denny. Hearing no discussion at this point, I'd ask, we'll take a vote on that. All in favor?
Aye.
And opposed? So the ayes have it. We'll move on to 5.10 at this time.
Todd County Community Corrections 2025 allocation. The background is the 2025 Todd County budget for the support of Todd Wadena Community Corrections has been approved at $619,404 with a letter of request that has been received to transfer the allocated funds. Your options are to approve the fund transfer or do not approve the fund transfer. It is the recommendation to approve the attached resolution for the transfer of funds from the general fund to the Todd Wadena Community Correction Fund for the 2025 allocation in the amount of $619,404.
Okay, wonderful. So the attached resolution is for the transfer of funds from the general fund to the Todd Wadena Community Corrections Fund for the 2025 allocation. And the amount is $619,404.00. Do we have a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Noska. Is there a second?
Second.
And seconded by Commissioner Becker. And we'll take a vote on it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, and we're on 5.11 now.
Extension Committee appointments. Background is Todd County Extension Committees serve as an advisory body for the University of Minnesota Extension in Todd County. Committee members serve three-year terms that are renewable. We request the following appointments to be made for the County Extension Committee. Commissioner Newman requests that, excuse me, there's a typo there. Jed Fiskness to be reappointed to a three-year term, 25 through 27, as District 5 representative. Commissioner Denny requests that Eric Seifert be appointed to a three-year term, 25 through 27, as District 2 representative. Commissioner Noska requests that Megan Hollerman be appointed to a three-year term, 25 through 27, for District 4. And Commissioner Becker requests that Stacy Prokachik be appointed to the open seat as District 1 representative. Your recommendation is to adopt the recommendations for reappointment of Jed Fiskness and new appointments for Eric Seifert, Megan Hollerman, and Stacy Prokachik for the Extension Committee.
Thank you. So the recommendation is to reappoint Jed Fiskness and new appointments of Eric Seifert, Megan Hollerman, and Stacy Prokachik. Is that right?
That's correct.
For the Extension Committee. And can I get a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Denny. Is there a second?
Second. Oh, Barb. You go ahead, Barb.
Seconded by Commissioner Becker, who's on that board, on that committee. Does a great job. Any discussion at all? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And the ayes have it. Last
Last one for me.
Denise?
Parks and
Maybe you want to
Trails.
just do the whole thing today. Who knows?
I know, that's why I'm really getting my reading in. Parks and Trails Board member appointment. Background is, there remains an open for a seat of the Todd County Parks and Trails Board from District 1. Commissioner Becker recommends appointment of Stacy Prokachik to this open position. The recommendation is to appoint Stacy Prokachik as District 1 representative on the Todd County Parks and Trails Board effective immediately.
Thank you. So we have a motion to appoint Stacy Prokachik as the District 1 representative for the Todd County Park and Trails Board effective immediately. Could I get a motion to approve that?
So move.
Motion by Commissioner Becker. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Newman. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you for recruiting those members, and they'll make those boards more complete and great decision-making, so there we go. Next on the agenda is our ditch and ag inspector. Please come forward.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
I have one agenda item. It's to acknowledge receipt of County Ditch 27 hold harmless agreement for ditch maintenance. The background, the hold harmless agreement and aerial photo are attached. Recommendation, Todd County Board of Commissioners approves the following by motion. Acting as ditch authority, acknowledge receipt of a hold harmless agreement petition to clean a portion of the main ditch on County Ditch 27 in Section 16, Wycombe Township. And that's the section to be cleaned there.
Good.
Yep, so that's,
Okay.
I just needed acknowledgement of the petition.
What's that?
I just need acknowledgement of the petition.
Sure. So we need to acknowledge receipt of this hold harmless agreement petition to clean a portion of the main ditch on CD 27 in Section 16 of Wycombe Township. Do I have a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Denny. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Noska. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Acting on the sheriff as he can't
I love
attend.
it.
Here I go again. To accept donations for our K-9 fund for 2024. Background is donations were made in our K-9 fund in 2024 from Heron Trucking, Zinter Brothers, and Minnesota National Bank for a total of $860. The recommendation options are to accept the 2024 K-9 donations, and your recommendation is to accept donations for 2024 K-9 fund from Heron Trucking, Zinter Brothers, and Minnesota National Bank for a total of $860.
Okay, so the motion is to accept this donation for the 2024 K-9 fund from Heron Trucking, Zinter Brothers, and Minnesota National Bank for a total of $860. Could I get a motion on that, please?
So move.
Motion by Commissioner Becker. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Noska. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. 7.2 next.
The next item we have is budget carryover account K-9 forfeiture and contingency funds. The background is Sheriff Mike Allen would like to carry over the balance of the K-9, the forfeiture, and the contingency fund from 2024 to 2025 in the amount of $89,101.48. See the board request form attached. Your options are to approve the carryover fund or do not approve these carrying over funds. And the recommendation is to carry over the Sheriff's Office K-9 fund, contingency fund, and forfeiture funds totaling in the amount of $89,101.48.
Thank you. We will entertain a motion to approve the carryover of the Sheriff's Office K-9 contingency and forfeiture funds in the total of $89,101.48. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Noska. Is there a second?
Second.
And seconded by Commissioner Denny. Any discussion from our board? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Ayes have it. We're on to planning and zoning. Morning.
Okay, first here is the Zimmerman request for CUP, an application for a CUP for an additional enclosures for exotic animals with future public tours on parcel 14000580 in Kendota Township was submitted on December 10th. The application was reviewed by the Planning Commission during the January 2nd public hearing. Final recommendation from the Planning Commission was to grant the CUP with the conditions below. Options are to grant the CUP with the proposed conditions, develop findings to deny the CUP, or amend it back to the Planning Commission for further consideration. The recommendation is to adopt the findings of the Planning Commission and grant the CUP with the following conditions. 1, that the applicant must obtain and maintain a feedlot registration compliant with Todd County Planning and Zoning and Minnesota Rule 7020. 2, secondary fencing of the property shall be installed and maintained. 3, applicant must provide a copy of the USDA animal care license, registration and license. 4, applicant must abide by all their applicable Minnesota statutes and rules related to the keeping of wild animals. And 5, abide by all their applicable federal, state, and local standards.
Thank you. So we have the recommendations as outlined by Mr. Ossifort. And I'd ask if there is a motion to approve this Zimmerman request for CUP.
I'll move it, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Newman. Commissioner Newman has made that motion. Second?
I'll second it with the grant, to grant the CUP with the proposed conditions.
Thank you, Commissioner
Discussion?
Noska. Seconded, but before we make a vote, let's have a discussion.
I just have one question, Adam. It's got listed on the public tours. Do they have to have bathroom facilities or anything like that for the public tours? Have you contacted David at all?
That's a good question. I have not talked to David about that. If there is any rules, we can make
I
sure
mean,
you're aware that you need those things.
Hand washing available or?
So this parcel was, prior to this, was a exotic animal. So 20 years ago, I think it was back then. So there's no really change. They're just gonna add some more.
Right, that's what triggered the conversation between myself and the Zimmermans. They wanted to just add some more enclosures for the animals that they have, which would then trigger the need for a CUP. We have a exotic animal section in ordinance that says you need it. Well, that section didn't exist when they brought the animals onto the site, the change of ownership, and now they have it and they want to expand, so it triggered the need for a CUP. So here we are working through this to get them up to code, and then we can issue the permit for their other buildings and stuff.
So did Quistorps have a CUP?
What's that?
Did Quistorps have a CUP before?
No, this is the first one issued to the property.
Okay.
And I think that was because we didn't have that requirement in ordinance at the time when they were doing that. Now it's there, and with the change or expansion to what they have operating out there, it triggered the need for the CUP.
Okay.
I'm wondering if you shouldn't run it past David, though, if you're, and I don't know how many public people you're gonna have in. I mean, I guess what I looked at was the public tour part of it.
Yeah, we can get them connected with David for sure.
Yeah, I have no idea if you need anything more from that or not.
Right, and then that, I mean, that's another whole set of standards that if you want to add that as a condition, or, I mean,
I
we can
think
just
just a
make sure.
conversation with David it would
Yep.
take care of it if
Yeah.
there needs to have something added to it or not,
Right.
And if
Yep, we
David's
can-
fine with it, then I'm fine with it,
Sure. And we can just make sure to get them connected with them as a separate thing to this. And I don't know what your timeline is to actually build that extra building, but.
The public tours is down the line. I'm not ready.
Okay. And maybe that's something that has to come up then at a later date.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, but we can make sure to get David's contact information to them. So when that time comes, they're prepared to ask the question and make sure all those other licenses and such, the odds and end pieces are taken care of.
Should that public tour be taken off this one then, or not?
I don't think so.
Or just leave it
I
as
think
is and
it-
contact David as needed?
So we can just add that as, like, the number 5, abide by other applicable federal, state, and local standards, and just say, including, but not limited to Minnesota Department of Health standards. So it's very clear because that's the standards that we
totally
implement
different,
locally.
yeah,
Yep, so
exactly right.
if you want to include that in the motion to include the, including but not limited to Minnesota Department of Health standards into that last part, that makes it clear they gotta do that also.
Well, yeah, because I'm not concerned about them opening it at all. I'm just concerned, if they, and it depends upon how many public you have coming in as a tour too,
Mr.
Yeah.
Chair, if I may, so this current CUP that we are approving is just for the holding of the animals, correct? This doesn't have anything to do with public tours.
Well, they wanted to include that
Wanted to
in
include it,
there.
though. Okay,
Because,
okay,
yeah, so it's kind
it
of
is-
phased action, but
Okay.
they wanted to include this because it is their plan to do that. So rather than apply for multiple CUPs, they wanted
Right,
to
okay.
get it all in there and under a single application.
I guess, if I may, I'd like to say that either it is, if it's included as a public use, that we do have the language that would
Yep.
allow us to come back and say, it has to be approved by whatever regulatory one has to. If they don't want to deal with that, then they should take out the use of public use into the CUP, one of the two. It's pretty clear, because we just don't need, people forget and people get busy and we're busy here, and the next thing you know, you've got, there's a fair there, and we don't know. Hopefully you do it, hopefully it's amazingly successful, but it'd be good to have it, not have to come back and do this again.
Yeah,
So what would you like, just add the language that we would have at that time, we would have to make sure we're checked that everything's sanitary, the public bathrooms or whatever, stuff like that.
yeah.
I'll leave it up to Adam how it words.
Yeah.
I'm not a good wordsmith.
If I'm understanding you correctly, we could add a sixth condition that says that, a site and a permit review shall be completed prior to the start of any public tours or something, so that if there is something, we need to bring it back to the planning commission or whatever, we'll just, it's a condition of it that we
Commissioners,
do that at that time.
Yeah, I just want to make sure
Are you,
that,
everybody, I mean,
you know,
we feel good about that language?
Yeah.
'cause I'm sure you're going to have hand
Looks like we do.
washing,
Yep.
public bathrooms and,
Lions, tigers, and
So
bears.
Yeah.
we have a motion, a second. Now, we have a little bit different language here, so I think maybe we need to,
You just need to clarify your
wanna clarify that.
motion and your second agree to adding the
So, yeah.
sixth condition.
so our motioners and our seconders were agreed to
Yes.
with this language
Andy?
addition?
Yes.
Go ahead, Commissioner Newman.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I'll second again with the now added sixth condition as well.
Excellent, good job. All right, so based on that, we know the language is going to be added, and we'll take a quick vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And the ayes have it. Next agenda item.
Okay, Ambling Trail plat, preliminary plat. An application for subdivision to create a two-lot plat with an additional outlot on parcel 0300183000 in Birchdale Township was submitted on December 4th. Was reviewed by the Planning Commission during the January 2nd public hearing. The final recommendation from the Planning Commission was to approve the preliminary plat with the conditions identified below. Options are to approve the preliminary plat with the conditions, develop findings to deny the preliminary plat, or remand it back to the Planning Commission with an extension. The recommendation is to adopt the findings of the Planning Commission and approve the preliminary plat with the conditions below. One, all new driveway accesses shall be approved by the local road authority prior to installation, and to abide by all their applicable federal, state, and local standards. And the preliminary plat drawing should be in there in a little site map showing the location. So it's the smaller, lot one is the one with the shed on it there, kind of the smaller square one, and then lot two is where Denise's mouse is now, the big L-shaped one. And the outlot is just to the left there, that triangular piece is the outlot.
Okay. So we have the agenda item here, Ambling Trail plat, preliminary plat. That's a lot to say, wow. And I'm looking for a motion to approve this preliminary plat.
So moved, Mr. Chair, with, approve the preliminary plat with the conditions below.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Newman. Would there be a second out there?
Second.
Tim, that you? Seconded by Commissioner Denny. And at this time, we'll take a quick vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, Adam.
Thank you.
Solid waste up next, please.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning, Mike.
The board action that we have in front of you today is the hiring of an operation technician position. In anticipation of the opening of the new transfer station's facility, the Solid Waste Department, with assistance from our Solid Waste Committee, is proposing this new position of operation technician. This position is needed to further assist our expanding duties of our administrative network. The current lead operator position will be terminated upon approval of this upgraded position. This position was reviewed by Gallagher and was given a grade F with an hourly range of $24.85 to $32.78 per hour. The addition of this position will ensure the Todd County Solid Waste mission to provide its clients a safe, reliable, and environmentally sound waste solutions. Options are to approve this operation technician position or do not approve. It is our recommendation to approve this new operator technician position and terminate the lead operator position. This is a budgeted item through our Sourcewell fund, or enterprise fund, I'm sorry.
Okay,
Mr. Chair, can I ask, should that be in two different steps? Should we be first terminating one job description and then adding another one, or can it be combined?
I believe that this is okay to be on both. The way
Okay.
we have it, where it says the current lead operator position is terminated upon the approval of the position.
Okay,
So that is okay to do that.
okay, thank you.
Madam, I
Yeah.
would say that once this one's approved, then there would be a board action.
we will need something coming
Yeah,
back. to
something
terminate.
later.
To
at the
coming
next-
back,
Once
okay.
this is approved, then we'd bring back the removal of that other position.
So as I understand this,
Oh.
we have a current lead operator position that's staffed.
That is correct.
And what's going to happen is, if we approve this, that position will eventually be a non-position, and we'll either promote someone or hire someone to be the operations technician.
That is correct.
So it's kind of a, I don't want to say a tit for tat, but it's a renaming of a position, and
So what's going to happen to the person that's in this position right now?
Well, currently, we do not have that staffed.
You don't have it staffed?
No, I'm
Okay,
sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
It's vacant position right now.
Okay,
Yep.
yep,
so there
And
is a
just-
position, it's just not staffed, it's
Yeah.
vacant.
Just a note also on behalf of Human Resources to call out, there's a wage listed, but currently being that we're in negotiations, that is, that's not necessarily the wage range.
Right.
Oh, here she is.
hi Nellie.
Okay. So we have this, opportunity ahead of us here to approve the new operations technician position and terminate the lead operator position. We're gonna have to have two separate, we're not really,
Well, technically, you're approving a change in a position,
Yep,
is what you're technically doing. And once this is approved and you're moving forward with the selection of a candidate, Mike would bring back a board action to
fill
null
the
and void
operation technician.
previous position.
That's the way I understood it to be, yes.
so just to understand, you will be coming back with a board action form to terminate that lead operator position. We're not doing it all in one fell swoop here.
Commissioner Byers, if I could speak. So the lead position is currently vacant. So if the operations technician would be approved, Mike could bring back next board meeting to remove the job position, lead equipment operator. Also, I'd like to point out that on the budget, the lead equipment operator was not at this high of a grade. So it was budgeted, but not at this wage. Just to clarify.
Thank you. Not trying to make it difficult, just want to make sure the entire board understands what we're doing here, so. Okay, let's get to business here. Do I have a motion to approve the new operation technician position?
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Denny. Is there a second out there?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Newman. We've had a lot of discussion. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Excuse me, ayes have it.
Thank you.
We'll see you next meeting. Thanks, Mike. Excuse me. Okay, we are, at this point, I'd like to ask for a motion to move to closed session. And that closed session will be a pursuant to Minnesota statute 13D.03 to consider strategies for our labor negotiations. Can I get a motion, please? To move to closed session.
So move.
Commissioner Becker made that motion, and I need a second.
Second.
Commissioner Denny, second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, welcome back. We have now finished our closed session. At this point, I will need a motion to reopen the regular Board of Commissioners meeting.
So
Can I get a-
moved.
Commissioner Denny made that motion to reopen, and I got a second.
Second.
Thank you. Commissioner Becker, second. All in favor? Aye. And all opposed? Okay, that's been passed. It is 10:33 as we reopen. Thank you. At this point, we have our standing committee reports that we'd like to go through, so Auditor Treasurer, please start us off.
Yes, I'd like to report today. The only thing I have is in February, the 10th through the 14th, is the Minnesota Association of County Offices Conference that I'll be attending. Our county recorder attends that as well. And then Swanville School District is having a special election on February 11th. Polling location for this event will be the Swanville Fire Hall, and absentee voting is available by contacting that school district as well.
And as I understand it, that's for residents, not property owners. You have to reside in that school district to vote, right?
Correct.
Thank you. Okay, our county attorney, is there anything to report, sir?
Mr. Chair, nothing to report at this time. Just encourage folks in that Swanville referendum to vote.
Thank you. And coordinator, please.
This past 2 weeks, I applied for the active transportation grant, met with a committee to go through the safe and secure courthouse grant funds and plans for spending that with the needed changes for the county. I went to a department head meeting, a law library meeting, solid waste meeting, reviewed new payroll software in the administration office, attended leadership essentials training, and have been planning for the employee holiday party, which is going to be held on January 31st.
Very active. Thank you. Good job. All right, and our commissioners report, if I could start from my left, Commissioner Newman, please.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Had a solid waste meeting. Rainbow Rider, we're still having issues with the feds trying to get our building through. They rejected our last bid. We bid it, Commissioner Becker, 4 times? So we're scheduled to have another emergency meeting to try to figure out how we're gonna compensate all the contractors that we have tried to hire do not meet the minority criteria because of federal funding. So we're trying to figure that out of where we can find a contractor that has enough minority
Ownership or?
To move that project forward, which is just crazy. And we've been working on this thing for 4 years plus. So it's just insane. But we'll let you know what happens, I think, on the 31st. Also had a JD2 meeting on the 14th. That was basically just a abandonment, doing some cleanup on some paperwork that should have been done back about 20 years ago. So we just abandoned one section of JD2 with the Douglas County Commissioners. And man, that's about all I got.
Thank you. Commissioner Becker, please.
Yes, I attended the Rainbow Rider meeting on the 9th, and like Randy said, we're still working on our new bus garage. Very interesting, but working with the federal government. On the 13th, we had correctional meeting in Staples, and the 15th, I had the Friendly Rider meeting up in Wadena, and they've got a grant to go with a propane buses, and they'll be putting up a huge propane tank. They're getting 2 buses right now and hoping to get more. It's a state program that they're testing out, so that'll be interesting coming forward. They're also looking at doing a new bus garage up there too, but they're working with state dollars. And then on the 16th, I went to the West Central Regional Juvenile Center meeting up in Moorhead. And our trending for beds is how we pay our portion of what we, and our trending for the last 2 years, we're down 3.0%. And that goes with usage. The other thing that's coming is the non-secure female transitional program, and they're hoping for 8 beds, and maybe it's the only one of the kind in the state of Minnesota, and with much people are interested, they may be able to go to a 12-bed. They're also looking for podding for the mental health part of it, and Solutions is the company that's going to be running it. The state is not, or the county is not going to run that part of it. Solutions, an outside mental health unit will be running that. And I know to watch as they're trying to find funding from the state and so forth, so. Just more on that, very interesting meeting though. The other thing that during discussion, during that meeting, outside discussion, is one of the counties ordered new Chevrolet vehicles. And the Chevrolets have got a soybean sprayed on the bottom to protect their wiring. And they're having to replace some of the wiring 3 different times because the squirrels are eating their wiring bare. And so they were questioning if any other county was having this problem, but it's on the new Chevy vehicles.
So
So
they're
they thought maybe they should do a squirrel season in this.
underspray of
Yes,
soybean
yeah. it's a-
coating is feeding the squirrels in that county.
Yes,
I'll be darned.
yeah.
Let's
So
make
it's
sure we-
interesting, Donnie was talking about it, yeah, asking us as a county if we've had any problems.
Let's make sure we avoid that. Wow, that's pretty good. Okay, Commissioner Danny, what do you got today?
We had the SWCD meeting, we had a solid waste meeting, which now we have personnel now and department head meetings, which get my feet wet with those. I attended the JD2 meeting with Commissioner Newman over in Douglas County. I missed my Hilltop one because those times overlapped. Then we had a leadership training, virtual training last week, and then also we had a mediation last week, but other than that, it's just been business as usual, nothing to discuss further that hasn't been talked about already.
Thank you. Commissioner Noska, please.
Yeah, yeah, so the things that stand out is business as usual, but things that stand out, I guess, we did have that law library meeting on the 8th, and I think they've started some renovations, John, right, the renovations to the law library, I think that's been working forward.
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Noska, yes, demo has taken place in the law library. They have framed up a conference room and a law library storage area. That's part of a bigger project that's tied to the court safety and security grant that County Coordinator Bauer obtained for us. So yes, all those things are in motion.
Yeah, thanks, John. And otherwise, just the news at Community Corrections that Sarah Erbach's leaving. Yep, that's tough. It should be a tough loss, but good for Otter Tail County. Good for them.
Excellent, thank you. Myself, we had spent a lot of time with Tim in our new positions with the personnel, department heads. Did attend the Todd County Soil and Water Board of Supervisors meeting last week, I believe it was. Also was in and out of the AIS meeting. Met with everyone on last Friday mediation. Big thank you to our administrative team and our legal team, attorney. They did a great job in that meeting. Also the HHS employees that were there also. Finally, we did have an airport commission meeting. They're gonna potentially build 4 new hangars, correct, Commissioner Newman?
Yes.
And I think 3 may be already spoken for. And we sent them a lead for a 4th one that, interesting enough, is an employer here in town who lives in Holdingford but wants to put his plane in Long Prairie, so it might be all be spoken for, so. That's it for me. So with that, I just need a motion to adjourn.
If I could ask one question.
Sure.
On February 3rd is the Minnesota Rural Caucuses. It's a Zoom meeting at 10. And I think that we have to make sure that we have someone on that meeting after we got that back from the state, what Governor Walz is planning on sending down.
That's a 10 to noon meeting, it sounds like.
10 to, yeah, and it's by Zoom, but we just gotta make sure who's gonna be and who's gonna represent Todd County. And I think, who do we put on that? Do we put, I mean, and everybody's scheduled, so, but I just wanna make sure someone's on that meeting Zoom.
Would it be on here?
Yeah, it would be. I thought you and Randy would. I just, you know,
I think Bob is.
that's, I thought it was Bob and you. but-
Minnesota Rural Caucus,
Yep.
Yes,
talking about. I am the,
Maine.
everyone else, the alternates, it's me.
yeah.
Well, thanks for the reminder, Barb.
Okay, and if you can't make it, just
Sure, it's
let
Zoom.
someone else
I could
know.
potentially sit in if you can't, Bob, too, so.
Yeah, I think it's real important that we attend and be voting on these meetings.
Okay,
Commissioner Nosker, I will make sure that it takes place. Thank you.
Awesome.
For sure.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Nope.
I do have one more
Chairman
thing here.
Byers, I just wanted to say, I totally forgot. We did receive the Minnesota County's Intergovernmental Trust Certificate of Excellence presented to Todd County in recognition of outstanding experience in workers' compensation, experience modification under 1.0 plan years 2021 through 2023. So that's a nice achievement. We'll get framed and put out here with the rest of them. And then also I wanted to say that Attorney Lindeman reached out to me and asked for the law library books down in Main Street. So he's going to convert those all up to his location, which is great because that takes some of that.
All of them?
Well, there's a slug of library books or law books, but I don't know how many are John's taking, but I'm just happy he's taking some of them.
Okay.
Because that cleans that house out a little.
I'm very excited about that. And the award. Great job,
Yes.
everybody.
Yes.
Any other thing we missed or want to talk about? Great. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Denny. Second?
Second.
Mr. Newman? All in favor?
aye.
Aye. All opposed? Ayes have it, we're closed. Adjourned. And can we move right into the work session here? It's getting warm outside, so I think everybody's ready to get out of here. There we go, formal announcement, but now we're in work session.
Are all of you getting the MRC now? Are you getting emails from Ann at Capitol Hill Associates? You are getting those. Okay, good.
Great.
They were supposed to add all 5 of you as alternates.
From who?
From Ann, I don't think I am.
I haven't either.
You're not getting those?
I don't, maybe I did. I shouldn't say anything until I look. Maybe I did, that's what I got.
Okay, great. We are still live streaming, so at this point, we're going to start the work session, Board of Commissioners work session today, the 21st. Time is 10:46, as I have it. And our first agenda item is County Attorney Lindeman would like to discuss some roles.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This has been contemplated for a couple of years now. We had a Personnel Committee meeting last week where we finally discussed the idea of consolidating the Assistant County Attorney 1, 2, and 3 positions in my office into one Assistant County Attorney position. The impetus for this was that the Assistant County Attorney 1s in my office appealed their salary grade determination as part of the Gallagher process. And Gallagher agreed with the ACA 1s that they should be placed at the ACA 3 grade. And so with that, we have decided to nail down what that collective Assistant County Attorney 1 job description should be. And we can sort out the pay details along with all the other employees when negotiations are done. But for now, they would be placed on the pay grade 16 ACA 3 current grade. I believe attached to the work session agenda is a proposed position description. This eliminates the attorney supervisory functions that had existed in the Assistant County Attorney 3 position, along with the 6 or more years of relevant experience qualification. And again, because of the size of my office and the fact that all of the assistants are doing the same work from day one, whether you're just out of law school, just past the bar, or you've been in the office like Jane, for example, for over 30 years, you're doing the same work. So I'm hoping that the STEP system takes care of seniority considerations as it should. The key is to, again, just normalize the job description and get all of those assistants at the same pay grade.
Thank you. I think everybody did get an email that HR will be they have to review the job description that's been put forward, which I think John also knows that Nellie will try to get that as soon as she can. So I'd open up if anybody wants to discuss next steps or questions for our wonderful team here.
Yeah, John, I think to begin with, the difference between 1, 2, and 3 was the wage difference, correct? Isn't that why it was first?
It wasn't. It was an artificial years of experience thing. I mean, I've spoken candidly about this before, and I don't mind doing so on the record here at the work session. We had a great disparity between the years of experience of the assistants like me and former assistants like Mike Schneider and Jane Gustafson, who has been here for, like I said, over 30 years. And so in order to accommodate her, to give her some higher rate of pay, this ACA 3, Assistant County Attorney 3 position was created for her, even though the details of her job duties were basically artificial in order to warrant that bump. So there's no need for that differentiation anymore. All of the ACAs in my office are currently experienced, close to 10 years of experience, and anybody new would presumably start at step 1 of this higher grade, and that's as it should be.
Great question. Any other questions or comments or discussion?
And I would think, John, this would give you some greater flexibility probably too with your positions in the office. I mean, with everybody being able to handle everything that's coming in, you don't have to differentiate levels of responsibility by having everybody on that same field, I would imagine, so.
Mr. Chair, yeah, thank you, County Coordinator Bauer. Not just that, but we have a vacancy in our office, and to be able to repost that vacancy at a wage that is suddenly market competitive for somebody right out of law school, it's a game changer, because it's been almost a year since we first posted that position.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Otherwise, I think at this point, I'm hoping that we could have our administrative team look through this description and get it moved, and then someone can communicate to us if it's available to go to board regular meeting in next steps.
Does it have to go to Gallagher or not? It does not, okay.
Not unless there's huge changes I haven't had a chance to look at it, I'll just send it Friday afternoon.
Okay. With the assumption that we get to this as quickly as possible and it meets the requirements of what we described in our comparable, the ACA 3 for Gallagher and whatnot, if all those things happen, then we should be able to bring it to board next meeting, I'm assuming. Is that correct, everyone?
4th of February, yep.
Okay. Anything else? Wonderful. You guys, great job. Way to collaborate. Good? Let's go on to number 2. Mr. Ossifor, please.
Okay, just a real brief update about the county comp plan. I'll just try to get up here whenever I can for brief updates along the way. Had my first meeting with Savannah, who's our plan writer with Region 5 last week, just to kind of start planning and looking forward to actually kicking off the process, which that process is going to kick off with a survey that we'll send out about a month before the kickoff meetings, just information gathering type survey. She has that survey. She's supposed to be sending it to me to kind of review it and see if there's things we want to add to it or adjust or something, but it's really kind of a box stock survey that they've created through Region 5. In the meantime, right now, we're gonna start just building the planning team, which will be 7 to 15 people. I think we're gonna try to get to the higher side of 15 people that will kind of be the ones that attend the meetings all the time. But the first thing we really need to establish is the date of our kickoff event. We're looking at April 15th, and it probably makes the most sense to do that in the evening for people that have work, whatever. If that's the date we kind of have tentatively planned, unless I hear something different, that is a Tuesday, it'd be a Tuesday evening. And we have some alternate dates if that one doesn't work.
That would be the same day as a board meeting.
Right.
Tax day.
What date did you say, April
15th.
15th, yep. We're looking at like a 6 o'clock in the evening. Savannah thought it'd be an hour exactly. She doesn't want to keep people there past that, just come, and we're thinking just have coffee, refreshment, whatever, nothing, no meal or anything. Because I'd anticipate we probably have a decent sized crowd for something like that, which is the other thing is meeting location. I do not believe this room's going to be big enough. So we're gonna have to figure out the elementary school, high school, the other, what's that? Yeah, some sort of offsite, probably for like 100 people or so. I don't know that we'll have 100, but certainly gonna be more than what I think we'd be comfortable with in this room. But the main thing is the date. Yeah.
Adam, doesn't have to be held in Long Prairie. Can we have it like at Barber Community Center?
Yep,
Which is
that was,
kind
I
of,
actually have that written down.
That's where
What
my
is-
head, that's where my head went to.
Okay,
Okay, Browerville, I didn't know, is that the same as
I mean, you can get
the
a
City
couple-
Hall?
You
Kitty corner?
contact City Hall to
Yeah.
reserve it.
Got it. I had that written down as an option. I'll look into that first then, because Browerville is a little more centrally located. It does not have to be any place in particular. So I'll look there first, but,
Adam, may I ask, is this a regular board where I'd have to have it recorded? Because the recording does not move off this location.
no, I think we just want to notice it so you guys could attend the kickoff meeting, right? And then I don't know if 1 or 2 commissioners are going to be assigned to attend each of the regular meetings as we move along, which will be, I believe, 5 planning meetings. The 6th one will be review of the full plan, and we're looking at about March of 2026 to have a plan for adoption. It'll take about a year. Kicking off in April.
Right.
Is April 15th seem like a good date to target?
I mean, I'm looking at my calendar right now, it looks good, you know, who knows what's gonna happen.
Once you
between now-
get
I think
a,
you just gotta put a flag in the ground and
Right, once you get a venue, why don't you send out an invite to all of us so we.
Yep, certainly. Okay,
do the legwork.
we'll make sure that that works then. That, we didn't make it a whole lot further than that, other than just doing some logistical stuff, but as I have meetings or updates, I'll just try to keep coming back here for brief updates. Unless there's any other questions.
I don't think so. Maybe just, since you're here, let's get some communication back on the questions about cannabis. I know it's not on here, we won't talk about
Oh.
it now, but I'm sure you can.
Yep,
Is it okay to speak about that right now or not?
yeah.
I think we had a question
Okay.
about medical versus
yep.
recreational.
right?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
So I don't have a ton of information on that right now, but I'm connecting with Dave Rush this afternoon.
Okay.
And to hear kind of what is Douglas's standpoint on that. Dave left me a voicemail Friday at like noon. I missed it, and then he was out of the office, so we're gonna try to connect this afternoon. Then I'll gather what I can.
Thanks
and
for that.
maybe have an update after
Okay,
that.
could say we're gonna discuss that today, and then I'll see Commissioner Rapp tonight. He's the chair, so I'll see him tonight in Sauk Center, so.
Sure. And we can maybe just reconnect.
Yeah, just communicate.
After
Yeah,
that.
Talk to Randy.
Sure.
He's the man.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Yep. Have a good day.
Thanks, Adam.
County Coordinator Bauer, please, and those. What do we got?
Okay.
All right, so at our last policy committee meeting, it was brought up that we do not have years of service past 30 years. And if I can, do you have the other? Nope, I got it. I gotta do it upside down, it'll work.
And you know, and I can't claim to be new too much longer because I'm coming up on a year, but I'm still trying. A couple weeks ago, we had an employee that had contacted me, and she has been here for 35 years with Todd County, and had asked about the awards that we give out quarterly during the board meeting with the commissioners. And at that time, I didn't realize there was also an achievement financial award tied to years of service that's in our policy or personnel policy. And at the time I said to her, well, of course, we would like to definitely honor our employees after 30 years. At 35 years, that's a great achievement. But then in looking into it further, realized that it's awesome to bring everybody up and have the photo and recognize our employees at our board meeting. We definitely love doing that. But there's a secondary piece to it, which is the financial award. And I think Nellie's pulled that up on the screen right now. That's right out of our personnel policy.
Yeah, so this is currently our personnel policy. So like I said, it ends at 30 years of service. You don't get anything after that. What was brought up at policy, this is what I have drafted, is kind of what policy talked about with changing 25 to 300 and then go all the way to 40. Because right now, 25 and 30 are both 400 for whatever reason.
What would you
I
do
like
for
the change. I just think that $25 for a 5-year service award is kind of, I mean, $25 isn't anything.
And we're changing it, so that doesn't mean we couldn't,
Right, I'm just-
update that if we wanted.
I almost like to see the first three be a 50, 75, 100 at least, or else move the thing down, tiered it all up one, get rid of the 25, because 25 isn't, I mean, is it worth writing somebody a check for $25?
Well, it's not an extra check, it just gets put
I
on there.
understand.
Yeah, I get what you're
You know
saying.
what I mean?
And then also another consideration is that we've had employees in the interim who have reached those milestones of 35 and 40, but haven't been recognized or haven't received any type of financial award. So something just to think about is if the board decided that they wanted to move forward with putting this in place, that we would, want to possibly be looking back to those employees.
Typically, when we do something like this, it's going forward. You don't go back and mess with the past, what has already been done. Because example, if we change 25 from 400 to 300, are we going to go back and take $100 away from them? So typically, when we change policy, it's we put the new date, and it's as of that date going forward.
When was the last time we honored this money? I guess I never knew about it until it was brought up.
We do it every year in December. We pay it
But
out.
we haven't given out this money for how many years? Or have we given it out consistently?
Yeah, we run a
Still
report every year.
consistently give
Yep.
it out every single year.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
we wouldn't have to go back retroactive if,
But what Jackie was saying, like, we haven't had the 35 and 40 before, or if we change the amounts, up 5 years of service, that typically when we change a policy, it's going forward, we don't go back and dig up and repay people and,
how many people are we even looking at year 35 or year 40 that haven't been paid?
there's a handful.
A handful.
I think in personnel policy, we've seen 6, if I remember right.
Yeah, 5 or something like that.
When I
5 or
read
6.
this firstly, then I saw the question about, do we pay people that have, now have 40 years, that didn't get paid for that 40 years? I don't know, I don't think that's, honestly, I don't think that's a.
For them, at least.
I think in policy, it was, Nellie had a list of the employees, and I think there was one at 41 years, or that person was starting their 41st year, if I remember right. And I think there was 5 below 40.
So what you're saying is like, obviously, we're not gonna get a call from somebody that's been retired, say, I should have got that 5 years ago when I hit my 40 number.
No,
We're
'cause-
saying
and
if you're
that's-
your current employee. and
Right,
you
if
hit
they're
40
currently
next year,
employed.
you're gonna get
That's the
another-
other thing, like if you'd go back and say, okay, any current employee, we're now gonna currently pay, it muddies the water if we ever have to go back and look, like, we'll look at the contract or the personnel policy and say, okay, this was updated on January, whatever, 2025. And if we ever have to look back to see, well, why didn't so-and-so get this amount on this day? If it didn't match the policy, that you'd have to almost put something in policy that you're going back and paying. Because otherwise it's as of that date going forward.
So it's kind of a two-question thing. If you, number one, decide to go ahead with the 35 and 40 and honoring that, but then the second piece of it is, are you going backwards and then giving those awards to the people that didn't receive them? But first question is, do we want to do the 35 and 40-year recognition?
Or like Commissioner Noska said, do we want to up the 5 and 10 year to 50 and 75?
So, if I may, let me clarify this, we've had an employee, as in one employee.
One
ask
employee
this?
ask about their 35-year service award, which there currently isn't one.
I mean, I personally, I think like the structure like that you've changed, there's a differentiation between whatever it was, 30, 35, that's great. I see no problem with that. I kind of tend to agree, 5 years, $25, it's something, but it's not really nominal enough to move the scale. I mean, should it be 50, 75, 100? I mean, to me, that looks fine the way you just did it, but just one commissioner's opinion.
I like it like this. It's good.
Well, team, what do we want to do going forward? Do we want to take this to policy and have it,
You're gonna have to
have the
do,
committee look at it and say, this is what
we did it
Policy
at
committee?
policy, didn't we?
Yep, we did it in a policy, so next step would be
Board.
board, and I would have to do a resolution and everything to update the personnel policy.
To reflect this.
And it would have a date on top of when it was last changed, the policy, the effective date.
The only problem I can still see is someone going to feel really slighted, by missing that 35 and 40. Or, I don't know.
So she works to 40 then, gets her $40 check.
Yeah, I agree, Barb.
I don't know.
This looks great and it's nice and neat, but yeah, the complaint's probably not gonna go away because we changed this, but.
Or do you just leave it the same? If,
I like to have the longevity part in there, that way it protects us going down the road. But Because I feel like if you work 35 and 40 years, you should be recognized for that.
Okay, well, would you like her to bring it to the board as she has it written now? Or,
Mr. Chair, if I may, because I sit on personnel, and I'm going to speak on behalf of the individual that questioned. The longevity, you're correct, is right, and we're talking about 5, 6 people. If you move forward, which is great, how is that person at 41 years going to feel? Because they've missed the 35, they missed the 40, and now there's nothing else. And that's your longevity person that's put that time and effort into the county. That's just my opinion, and financially, it wasn't that big of dollars. So on a financial aspect, I'm just telling you that it wasn't that much of a cost to the county. And I'm just speaking on behalf of those people.
and I hear, honestly, my gut says, why are we even messing with it? Like, we're gonna govern because of one. I mean, I want every voice to be heard, obviously, make that clear. You can always come in and voice your opinion on stuff to administration and county, but at the end of the day, maybe the structures, numbers need to change, but
Would it help if I would do some research, like would there be any liability or repercussions if we would go and say, okay, any active employee, we want to look back to see if, and retro you? I guess if the board feels they would like to essentially make those whole who missed out.
I'm gonna say this in all transparency to the people here and our entire workforce. I don't wanna are we making a mountain out of a molehill? I don't wanna minimize anybody's input. It's all very, very important, okay? But I don't know, this discussion doesn't seem like it's ready for a board meeting next time. I think has to be something else more clear. I mean, am I missing something? Are we?
No, you're not missing nothing. Like I said, like Commissioner Becker, when she made the comment that this doesn't really answer it right now. And like Denise was saying too, like their time's been put in. So I mean, I don't know. You don't really want to go back and back pay. I get that, but I don't know. Yeah.
Could you look at the financial implications we would have for this if it were to actually occur like this, and we retroactive the people that didn't get paid for their 35 or 40, we went back and paid them. What is it actually going to
Right,
cost us?
and
Is
if
it a
you're-
big deal? And
if you're gonna retro 35 and 40, you would almost have to retro upping the 5 and the 10 year from 25 to 50, from 50 to 75.
And we don't want to do, I mean, yeah.
we don't want to retro that.
The more you do this, the more you're going to,
Right.
people
Open up can of.
open up a can of worms.
That was my comment about mountain to a molehill to a mountain, whatever you
Right.
said.
Well, so if you put it back to the 25 and 50 and then kept the 400s the same, I know it doesn't make sense, but if you did that, then you'd only have to touch the 35 and 40 then, right? To retro them.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause everybody else would have the same, I mean, even like I said,
That would make, to me, that makes it a little cleaner.
just because I get it, the 2 400 doesn't make sense, but nonetheless, you don't have to go back and
Right.
take away money or.
Or if you,
Change any of it, we're going to be put in that situation.
We just do
Even
Because you just
correcting
added
that
it.
20-year
Added
at
it.
200 or 25 at 400, right? Because you changed those numbers.
25 was at 400 and we knocked it down to 300.
We have a request from Commissioner Noska. And would you still want to see this financial perspective?
I don't think so. I don't think I need to
Okay.
make her do the work unless we want to dig that far into it. I love this, having this years of service and an award amount. It's great. It's great to do that. It's a gift for
100%.
longevity, for loyalty, for staying with us. And I do feel for the people that maybe topped out, and that's where they hit. They hit the top of the line, and that's where it was at the time. I mean, if we go forward with it, we could adjust it to just like this as it's written, and just say starting today, as of, and done. And then we don't do any retroactive. We don't do anything.
It's typically how we do for policies. It's going forward
Right.
as of this
And then
date.
that doesn't muddy any waters. It's just, this is just the new table. It's just a new table is all it is.
So if I'm at 31 years, I don't get paid, but going to be at 29 years, I'll get paid. I'll
Well,
work 2 years
if
too
you're
long.
if you're at
I bet you that's
31
how they
year,
felt when they observed the drinking age from 18 to 21, I bet you, 100%
And
that.
then
Oh,
right back again.
Barb, if you would have been at 31, you would have gotten paid your 30.
Okay, the only ones we're looking at is 35 and 40 by
Yes.
adding them to
Yes.
to me, that makes it a lot cleaner, just, hey, add the two toppers, that we leave everything as is, and
Leave everything else as is, the dollar amounts as is.
Yeah, and if
can we
you
put-
don't pay retro, you can change it to
Change any
whatever
dollar
you.
amount you want.
Yes.
If you don't pay retro.
Yes.
And Mr. Chair, the last couple of years, we started handing out recognition
Yeah.
certificates to our employees. We asked them to come before the board meeting. We brought them up, introduced them, how many years of service they had, and then took pictures with them. So we're trying to
Want this
recognize.
back on personnel, or you
So-
want
So,
it back on policy?
yeah, what's that?
You want to put this back on personnel, or you want to put it back
I
on
don't
policy?
want the hang up about retro pay to stop the forward motion of doing the 35 and the
Well,
40.
and it speaks volumes that we are considering to pay people their longevity a little bit more. I mean, if I'm looking, I'm like, yes, it would have been great if they did this, when I was 18 instead of 21, or 20, whatever, But the fact that we have opened this up to this, minus the retro stuff, seems like it was a nice gesture.
Right. We can't always fix what was done in the past, but we can fix going forward.
Yep, I like
I
that.
think we have a couple over here are agreeing like that. How about this side? We got
Okay.
a side head shaker. You guys were a part of that original
impartial, I
writing.
Yeah,
Well, you know what? You could bring it to the board and we just discussed, and if we all have a vote then.
Okay.
If it passes, it passes. If it doesn't, it'll probably get kicked back and we'll have to look at it again. How's that?
this sounds
Sounds
Are we-
fabulous.
Do you know what to do now?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Anything else on that? Didn't think so.
Thanks, Bob.
Okay,
Fair enough.
at that point, do we need to adjourn work session? Can I get a motion to adjourn work session?
Yes.
Yes by Mr. Noska and seconded by Mr. Newman.
Yep.
All in favor?
Hi.
All opposed? Ayes have it, thank you.
There we go.
Good job, Bob.
It's funny too. when
Got
you
through
go-
that one alive, I guess.
It'll be like riding a bike after
Yeah.
a while.